Welcome, everyone, to the Zudomon X art show. Welcome to my museum. As you can see, I've recently had it nice and furnished with this beautiful blue-gray wallpaper and my logo and name of my Discord server in the wall directly where it can never be erased. And I'm the curator here. I am Humulos, and joining me today is my lead. I don't know, what's a role for someone in an art museum that isn't curator? Do you know anything?
The guy who welcomes you at the door.
Yeah, this is my greeter. This is my greeter Flurp.
I was the only one on hand to help judge, so
that's
we're
right.
handed at the art museum today.
That's right, we are. Yeah, that's what we're hoping to rectify here. Get some more interest in the arts so that we can have a bigger exhibit in the future. So, yes, joining me is, of course, Flurp. Flurp is one of the judges in this competition, as was Ray, the mod from Digitama Hatchery that you all may well know and love. Ray is, of course, in Sleepy Town right now because he lives off in the, Europe or something. I don't know. So we meanwhile are in Florida where the sun's still up. So we got work to do. We got to show off a bunch of art. So when we first did this, I was expecting to get like 10, maybe 15 entries. We ended up with 49 entries on this whole thing.
So many. It's awesome.
It is. It's it's insane. I never thought we'd get such a big not only a big turnout, but a big turnout of a lot of quality art. And we've already gone over a lot of it ourselves. Well, not a lot. We've gone over all of it ourselves to do the judging and all that. We got a lot of it to show off, and it's just it's very impressive. So we're going to be showing off the artwork, of course. The name of the artist will be on the top right in that little gold plate, and we're also going to be showing off their profiles, not like actually going to them, but we'll have the links to their profiles in the description of this video after it's done airing, as well as in the little gold plaque as well. For those that wanted to be credited that way, some people chose to not have their profiles linked, and it's fine. That's what they want to do. They just want to submit some art. They just want to win some Digital Monster X's, which, by the way, look at that. There they go. These two going to one lucky winner tonight. And as well, I didn't forget, we do the commenters contest as well. I've got another one for that winner as well. So first things first, though, Flurp, what do you say? Is it time to look at art?
Yes it is.
All right, let's do this thing. Up first, we have Ace Vang with this beautiful entry right here. And Ace of this artwork has said in his submission here, one of the distinguishing features of Gomamon X is that it has fuzzy chest hair. I wanted to emulate that onto Zudomon X, and I think he's done a good job of that. My favorite thing personally about this one is the Bane tubes going on in the back, like you'd see on Bane from Batman, just like delivering, I'm assuming, like some cold water to that ice horn. It's
stay hydrated.
Oh yeah, he's got to stay hydrated. Lovely design.
Yeah, I really like the dual wielding here. I like that they took his claw hand and kind of transferred it into like a handheld weapon. I really like that.
Yeah, it's true. He just kind of got tired of wearing it, so he just ripped it off and put it on a club. There you go. Very beautiful. Up next, we have Arrow with this design here. Arrow says of this design that they attempted to display a logical and advantageous evolution of Zudomon to survive the X program, and that it now possesses, which I didn't notice this at first, but it possesses small water jet rockets on its body and weapons. They are the silver cylinders with the golden caps there. We can see them right on his feet and on the weapons there. And the hammer becoming two blades is a very unique choice. I like that. I didn't see anyone else go with it that way, and I really like that. And the whole thing actually gives me some Dino Human vibes, for those of you that know who the heck Dino Human is.
I really enjoy a bunch of the choices here. I like that he kind of went in a completely different direction for its body shape, kind of like Gotsumon X kind of changes its body shape completely. Definitely like the weapons. Some neat and different decisions here.
Absolutely. Very cool. Next up, we have a Gravedigger. They say of this artwork that Zudomon abandoned its bulky body type for a more athletic and agile build to better complement the newly adopted aggressive combat tactic characteristic to X forms, and that it draws inspiration from pinnipeds and Sirenia. So definitely caught on to that. It kind of looks like a a sea lion a little bit, and I can imagine with this more svelte body, it just gliding through the water, which Zudomon I feel is a lot more clunky in the water normally, so that would be a good evolution for it to become more agile in the water.
Good thought process behind this one. Like, I like when it makes sense that when the changes occur. Like it dropped its bulk, it's more agile, does things a little bit differently.
There you go. I wish I could drop my bulk, that would be nice. I need the X parasite. All right, this one is from Brave Sun, and he says of this, this Zudomon really believes that he's Thor, and uses his horn as a lightning rod to electric charge his attacks, and the Thor motif is definitely like spot on here. This looks great. He looks so happy to be the god of thunder, and I love that focus on the electricity, and I love how just stocky he is. Like, it's kind of the opposite of the last one. The last one's really svelte. This guy is like, he's got a lot of muscle around him. He's like a very rotund individual. I like it. Yeah,
I like his beard. I like whenever they choose to get rid of the shell, when they replace it with something else that looks great, and the cape here is phenomenal. Really adds to the whole Thor aesthetic.
Most definitely. All right, up next we have Butteren. Butteren says that after countless battles, it further honed its well-tempered muscles, which are protected by pelt protected by its pelt and shell taken from opponents. Its devastating special move is Ragnarok Hammer, bringing down the greatest opponents with roaring thunder. My favorite thing about this is probably the most striking thing to everybody. That's the eye. I just love like the eye energy going off to the side. It reminds me of Cable from the X-Men. And I also have to give major props for being able to draw the braided tail so well. Like, it looks perfect.
Yeah, that's absolutely my favorite part here. The hair, and I do like the hammer. I do like how the hammer looks. That's really important to me when I'm looking at a Zudomon X design. Looking at how cool the hammer is, and this one's really neat.
Heck yeah. I like that there's they had it over there in the corner for reference just to make sure they got it the way that they wanted it. It's very nice. Okay, here we have CWDW, and their thought process behind this is that the hammer is the core identity of Zudomon. Ice is not much explored in the base design, but Zudomon can use Ice Lord Bump, Glacial Spear, and the hammer itself was found in Ancient Ice. I'd like to imagine the ice is part of the hammer, and that the anchor was also added to identify it as a sea Digimon. So this design here, I will say, really manages to capture like all the features of Zudomon and kick them up a notch without going too crazy. My favorite things about it are definitely like the energized shell going on back there, and one of the cool details is just like the ice, the way that it's used on various elements here. Yeah, for sure. The flex on the fur, if you zoom in, the ice on the back, like the axe part of the hammer mixed with the electricity. I also love the anchor hanging off. Like, he's so strong that he can afford to add that little extra bit to his weapon to swing around and hit people with. He's just that powerful. I love this design. Everything about it is so cool. Absolutely. All right, up next we have Delta Dark, and they say about this, most of the fur was replaced with woodcrafts, with the exception of the head. On the claw arm, there are carvings in the wood, including the sign of Mjolnir, and 2 smaller signs of Thor. A lot of Norse references going on with a lot of these, which makes sense. You know, Zudomon has always been related to Norse gods, and especially to Thor. So I like the idea to make everything out of wood. It's a really neat choice, and it helps bring home that whole Viking theme. For sure. I like the carvings on the wood. It's not just regular wood on like the claw. Looks really good. I like the leg braces. It's kind of a more primitive looking Zudomon. Totally. Okay. Here we have Digimon Professor, PhD in Digimemes, and they said of their artwork, this is the only thing they said. They said, I did it for the meme, and this is a very good Zudomon X indeed. This one's phenomenal. The hammer is extremely powerful looking. I really like his expression. He's so determined. Very amazing skill on display here. Yeah, definitely took a long time for that one, I'm sure. All right, here we have Don Valley Parkway. Here they say, the only thing they actually said about this is, my back aches so much after drawing this. So, I'm sorry about your back, but your design is great. My favorite thing, Yes. My favorite thing about it is the face. Like, I love that the face just kind of looks like it looks older. It looks like someone who's been in combat for a long time. Someone who's like really gruff. And it's not a face I normally see on just Digimon in general. It's very much, they took it their own way, which I like. And adding the little skull from Arkellamon up there at the top as well is a great touch.
I love the ice shins. Those are phenomenal.
Oh man,
I think anytime they incorporate ice in these designs, I'm all for it. It's really, really cool. I like anything that involves makeshift armor of any kind. Really, really neat.
All right, up next we have Edward Powell, and they say that they just love making fan-made Digimon, and this one they chose to give Zudomon 2 hammers, which makes sense. You get the X antibody, you get more stuff, you get 2 hammers, and it's a nice little unique design for the horn up there.
Yeah, not a lot of people gave him multiple hammers, which is, more hammers, better.
More hammers. All right, here we have Elise. Elise is someone whose art I have followed for quite a while because she's always just hammering out good little Digimon designs whenever she feels like it, and she often feels like it. So I love this one quite a bit. She didn't add any comments to it, but I will say that I wish she would share her thought process on the hammer here, because holy cow, that is quite the design going on there. I love it. I'd love to know what obviously it's inspired by like, the mastheads that they would have on Viking ships, but I'd like to know if there's like any kind of particular reference going on there. And definitely liking the whole spears coming out of its back and everything. It just kind of really brings it all together.
Yeah, I like how the spears look kind of like they're conducting electricity, like they're adding to his power, but I also like how it looks like he has wooden spears jabbed into his back like he was in some kind of fight. This whole style reminds me of the type of art that I'd see maybe like on a wall, like a temple wall or something, or in a parchment.
Parchment.
Also love the
yes.
Yeah. Also love the hammer. I like how his arm is a stump and the hammer is literally nailed into his arm. That's really metal. Yeah.
Dang. Good stuff. All right. Next up, we have Esarty. And Esarty here says that they might have had Monster Hunter on the brain when they made this, but that they wanted to emphasize using the parts of defeated Digimon in its design. And I have to say, I love how much several of these entries went with that, because Zudomon, of course, is famous for stealing Arkellamon shell and the fur of some unknown Digimon to just kind of paste onto its body. And a lot of people really took that further. So here we can see, we see Mega Seedramon on the arm there. We see Manta-Raymon on the head. We see Mammon on the shoulder and its tusks. All the X variants, by the way. It stole them from various X things. And I'm sure there's some others in here I don't recognize off the top of my head either. I'd be interested to know what other ones they snuck in here.
Yeah, I really like being able to look at the thought process behind all of the different pieces of armor. Anytime this is done, I think this is spectacularly rendered, and I like his spiky snow boots to get through the frozen tundra. I like his helmet. I love all the glowy bits. Just really, really fun design.
Yeah. All right, now we've got Gabriela Vieira, and this Zudomon. Again, we're following kind of that same theme there. We'll see what they say about it first. This Zudomon managed to beat out some Mega Digimon and use their parts to overcome the X program. Metal Piranhamon and Jumbo Gamemon they mentioned there specifically. So you have Metal Piranhamon has been affixed to the hammer, and then I believe that's one of Jumbo Gamemon's cannons he's using there on the arm. And it's, again, I love it. I love the different unique ways people find to incorporate these different parts, because I would have never thought of just throwing Metal Piranhamon on top of the staff to be the hammer. Like, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's really good. I love to imagine all of these designs in combat, and this one, it's so easy to picture how he would fight and what he would use the weapons for, and I could so easily picture him in combat with other Digimon, which is awesome.
Absolutely. So now we've got Gabriela Gomes, and for their design, they say this result is where he can become more offensive in every way. He can use his back like a shield, the hammer is longer to attack long-distance enemies, both of his hands are more human-like, so he can use his hammer at full power with both hands, while the shield is in his back, and his horn is increased, and longer teeth, too, to be more intimidating. So my favorite thing out of that is the way that they talk about kind of switching stances like you would in a video game to go between like hammer and shield one-handed mode, or you put the shield away and take it out into two-handed mode to deal more damage. I like that kind of RPG style thought process they got going on.
I love the way they decided to display how he holds the shield. It's just a really neat angle to show that at, him holding the strap like that. I love the bone claws coming out of his hand, and I really like how long the hammer is. It's a very, very unique design.
You can even see it like flexing a little bit, as if there's a little bit of give on the staff as he swings
yes.
it.
Yeah. Fantastic.
All right. Up next, we have Hibotan Creations, and they say of this Zudomon that has managed. Sorry, the Zudomon that managed to become their X-form are the ones that actually lost a battle against Regalicusmon, including getting their horn torn off, but did manage to escape before getting killed or loaded. And with this additional offensive and defensive power, he then went looking for that same Regalicusmon that won against him before, and in an eye for an eye, when he won, he then tore its giant pincher and shoulder pad, the former of which he attached what was left to his broken horn on his forehead as a trophy or replacement. So I had to read all that because I love that whole concept. I love it. It's so much fun. Because, yeah, Regalicusmon stole his horn, and so he went back for revenge. Now he's got his pincher up there, his horn. And I also just really like the blade weapon on this one. How it is just attached to the long chain at the end of the hammer. Like, we see a lot of things happen with the hammer, but this one kind of becomes a dual weapon. And it's, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
I like how much fun it looks like he's having. He's really jumping around. He's swinging he has a really dark past, but he's having fun with it, and I think that's what matters here. It looks great.
Okay, now we've got Jaeger69 for this one, and they say of this that this is their first time of them drawing freehand, and well done, I have to say. That is very fantastic for your first time. I love the armor on this one, especially the shell. Like, it's kind of been really blown up, a lot more mechanical looking, and it's obviously a lot bigger. Same thing with the claw there. I really like the way a lot of the metallic effects were handled on this.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. The shell is probably the best part here. I like how detailed it is, how many spikes there are, and I really like the shape that he went for.
Totally. Okay, now we've got Jamini, or I guess it could be Jamini as well, depending on what they're going for. Sorry if I pronounce anyone's name, by the way. It's all text, so never know which way to go sometimes. Either way, they say, Zudomon X with its newfound power decided to advance from hunting Archelamons to hunt Megaseedramon X's and Pukumons instead. And I like that idea, the idea to just kind of switch to an entirely different target for what you hunt for. And I think that the Megaseedramon blades on its back are definitely a good aesthetic going on. Yeah,
like I said earlier, I love when they have a reason for replacing the shell with something, and this is a really good reason. It's like almost like a mode change in a way.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Okay, next up we have Jimmy Valverde, and they didn't leave any comment on this, but I definitely like the way that the shell is kind of taking over his body there, and it's also made the tail into something completely different. It's a much more reptilian-styled shell at this point, and I definitely like to imagine that this guy is just a big boxing fan, the way that his stance is right there.
Yeah, I like how it looks reptilian, but it also kind of looks like a cozy coat up top a little bit, like with the yeah.
I could see that. Got to keep warm in those Arctic waters.
Absolutely.
All right, here we have Joe, and I had to include this piece from what they said. They said, my design philosophy was that icebreaker ships are dope. And obviously here I'm inclined to agree. Having a boat eternally crash into an iceberg on your back is indeed dope. As are those anchors that are hanging off around them, and obviously the bazooka shooting out the marching fishes from Gomamon, except that, the marching fishes are now like way bigger. That is such a great detail. Digimon often have like organic missiles and stuff, and seeing this be not only a callback to that, but to Gomamon as well, it's a lot of fun. I don't think there's anything better you could have put in the barrel of that bazooka.
Totally agree. I love the use of anchors. I love how much weight it looks like he's able to carry here, and obviously he has the muscles to handle it, but it's just very well rendered, so I can so easily picture him wielding all of these weapons. And obviously the ice mid breakage looks like it's happening as I'm looking at the art piece. It's super kinetic and in motion, and I'm a huge fan of this one.
Heck yeah. All right, now we've got Kenneth Ngui, and they didn't leave a comment on this, but right away my first comment is he's got pants now, and that's great. He needed a pair of pants, that is for sure. The hammer axe is pretty dang sweet, and he's definitely been powered up in quite a few places, including that really sick purple horn he's got going on up there.
Yeah, I really like the giant axe part on the back side of the hammer. That looks really deadly. So does the claw, and I also like how he has chainmail armor on his shoulder.
Oh yeah, that is what it is, huh? I like that. Very cool. All right, up next, we've got KingdomOfAlgae, or Algae, I guess, so depending on where they're from. They do not have a comment on this one, but I very much like the unique style. You know, a lot of people are going for a more classical Digimon style, which is great, and I love that, but I also love seeing it mixed up a little bit here and there too. So on this one, I definitely like how long the hair gets, and I like that camoed shell going on there as well.
This is probably one of the cuter designs. He's super round and he's chumby, and you know, I'm here for that. It's really
Definitely.
nice.
All right, up next, we've got, hey, we know this person, it's little Siri. What's up, little Siri? All right, so they decided that Zudomon X became the way that he was from searching the depths of the ocean, and that he found an holy Digiring and uses it as a shield across his body and as a power source. Love that idea. I think the holy ring, obviously you see that one of the first things you see, but then you look in the back there and you see that thunderstorm tail, and that is a concept you don't see in like a lot of things at all, like having just kind of a living tail like that, or a living body part at all. So just having a constant thunderstorm going in the back there is such a really cool idea.
Totally agree. It adds like a mythical element to him that I think is really cool. And going off of that, the use of the trident, completely changing the hammer out for a trident, very cool. Makes him really seem like he's exploring the depths of the sea a lot more. Gotta skewer some fish.
All right, up next we got Mariad Ralph, and they say on this one that they took the fur and stripe elements from Gomamon X and really pushed them here. That they felt the Zudomon wouldn't need a shell since they have enough fur to repel attacks and keep warm. So I love the proportions in this specifically, because most of the art here is definitely keeping Zudomon in his general shape. This one is like completely changed his shape, and it's in a very cute way too. I definitely like the way that they went with this. And that whole X antibody hammer thing, surprisingly, that's been a popular choice with this contest. And once again, I like seeing it here. Yep,
definitely a cool take on the Zai hammer here. And I also like the how it's drawn, like the angle. He's coming at you. He looks cute, but he's definitely out to get you here.
Yeah, that's just a ploy. He will he will
smack you.
All right, here we've got Marc McAuley, and they say of this that the Vulcan hammer has become the Vulcan Buster, a massive pile buster melded into Zudomon's arm. Zudomon has become more warlike with the introduction of the X antibody and is covered in scars and scrapes. This weapon choice might be like my favorite weapon choice that we've seen, because a pile driver is a really good logical step up from a hammer, and I would have never thought of it. I would definitely love to see it in action. It would be so cool to see in the anime, just like it, pull back and then just do a huge slam. I don't know. I would love to see this thing actually animated.
Same. I have to agree. The hammer is definitely the coolest part here, and I think they knew that it was the coolest part because it is definitely the focal point of this piece, and very very smart to do so because it looks fantastic, and I love imagining how this guy would fight.
Oh yeah. All right. We have Merlin here, okay? I can't help it. I laugh every time I see this thing's face, and they even say that. They say the face is the best part. That's the only comment they left on this, and I agree. This thing looks like it wants to be pet. Flip's got a little bit of a different opinion on that than I do, but like I just look at this and I think it is just some little cute little pet that you would have around the house. It would run up to you and be like, "I want some kibbles, please," and you just give it some scriptures and some kibbles, and yeah, I think this is one of the most adorable little Zudomons running around.
Definitely has the fluffiest face that we've seen so far. He looks almost pained, like his face is too fluffy. It's like he's too cute. He can't handle it.
I think it was Ray who was saying yesterday that he just looks at this and he's almost like, "Oh no," he's like, "Master, please end me right now." Something like that. Just a very like desperate look in his face. That's like, I don't get that same vibe from this. I just think him as adorable. All right, up next we've got Noah. Noah says that they decided to replace the horn with a missile because the horn shoots off like a missile. And I think that's a good callback to Ikakumon, right? Because Ikakumon shoots the horn off and a missile pops out. But Zudomon's got nothing to hide. So Zudomon just straight up has the missile by default and just shoots that out. So love it. I also love this little vent going on in the arm, and I have no idea what its purpose is, but I would love to know what its purpose is.
I absolutely love this one. I love that it's not a hidden missile. It is literally just a military grade, red-tipped, green-bodied missile with fins on its head. That is so sick. I love how simple the axe is, and I don't know. Yeah, I really like the missile.
It's great. It's a very striking feature. All right, here we've got Nookper, and Nookper, all they said about it was, I hope you like it, and I do. This one has a ton of personality to it, especially in that face, and I would basically expect this to be like one of the main heroes from an adventure anime of some kind, and with all those spears going on in its back, which has got quite a few, you know it's been in a lot of really good battles here and there.
I absolutely love the movement here. You can see the full arc of the hammer. You can see exactly how he's moving his body. You can see the determination in his face, and I love a lot about this design. I like his horn. I like the gold accents on the jewelry he's wearing. So good.
Heck yeah. All right. Up next, there it goes. We got October James, and they say of this that they, unfortunately, apparently lost most of their work in a computer crash about 7 hours before the deadline. So I'm very glad you were able to still make it in. Very sorry to hear that. But they said, thank you for the opportunity to push myself out of my comfort zone and draw something I've always wanted to. And I'm glad you had that opportunity, because this looks great. This is a very tall Zudomon, I must say. He's definitely stretched out a bit from the getting the X antibody. It's one of the more slender ones we've seen. And it reminds me in the changes that Groundmon X had, where it got like a lot more slender, it stood more upright. It gives me off that kind of vibe.
Yeah, same here. I like when the body ends up changing and it ends up looking just different enough from the base design that I can be like, okay, yeah, totally, I can see that. Because there's some X designs that don't stray too far from what the original design goes for and looks like, and I think this one captured that pretty well.
Okay, now we've got Omega, which I think this may have been the first entry that popped into my forum. Omega says he is a pirate, but Zudomon, and I say yes, he is.
He very much is. Yeah, I like the tentacle tail. I like that he actually just is a pirate. I dig his cutlass, his eye patch. He really went all out for it.
He sure did.
I like the clarification at the bottom.
Oh yeah, Omega drew this. There is no question about it. I see him in chat over there too, telling us this is the winner. So hi, Omega. Okay, up next we've got RussellOTD. They say of this that Zudomon's X's pelt has become a cape, and his shell has become his mighty shield. His hammer is now a war hammer that channels lightning from its spike on its back, redirecting it to power up the hammer to land mighty blows that can crush anything in its path. And on that shield, I love that shield design. I love the energy coming off it. The energy in general on him is fantastic. You can even see it coming out of that X scar in his chest, and the way he's got that one on his shoulder, the little kind of orb-like thing there, it reminds me of an arc reactor, like he's like, you know, Tony Stark, like Iron Man, as if he's powering all this from his body, which I love it. It looks very energized. Very cool idea. I
have so much to say about this. I'll try to keep it brief, but I love being able to look at the design and kind of imagine him in a scene doing something. Like this guy, I can see him like standing guard on like a frozen wasteland in front of an icy gate. He's keeping intruders out. He's determined. I love his shield. It's so powerful looking. I like his hammer. Looks like he can wield it with absolute ease. There's just so many great choices, and it's not the most complex design, but it totally uses everything that it has to amazing effect.
Heck yeah, it does. All right, up next, let's see what we got. We got, oh, it's Wrist. Hi, Wrist. I actually don't know how to say Wrist's name in the entirety. Wristelnix, I guess it would be. Wrist says of their artwork that they have more floof on the design since Goma X had some of Zudo's, and Zudo's lore of being a predator and trying to get revenge on Regalicusmon for taking Zudomon's horn, which I'm surprised we saw that twice. Two of the revenge stories on here. It's a very cool design. We can see the pincher that Regalicusmon uses has been incorporated here, which I love it. And apparently while he was trying to get Regalicusmon, he also took out Metal Siegemon as well. So sorry, Metal Siegemon. I think that whole concept there should definitely be like an episode of the anime. I think that would be really sick. But the other thing that really stands out in this is the crown going on in the face. Makes him look like the king of the sea, and I love it. I love the whole motif going on here.
My favorite part is absolutely the tail. I love the shape of it. I love all of the colors used in it. I love all the colors, period. But yeah, the tail definitely does it for me. And yeah, of course, the hammer. I like how Metal Siegemon's helm is incorporated there. Poor guy. I don't even want to think about what he looks like now. But yeah,
just a lower jaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tail reminds me of Wartortle's tail. Actually, now that I think
yes,
the way it's all
100%.
cloudy. And for those that don't know, Wartortle is actually my favorite Pokemon. So obviously, I agree with that kind of decision making. All right, up next we've got Salvador. Salvador says after losing his horn, which he does not specify if it was against Regalicusmon, but that could be another one of those. After losing his horn amid countless fights as well as his hammer, this Zudomon developed a new fighting style using a sword made, I said that twice, using a sword made from Archelamon's fins, and integrated the chrome digizoid of his hammer into his skin, allowing its shell not to be used as a shield, but as another weapon. And so this is another good reference to him losing his horn, of course, and it's a very good warrior design. The coloring actually reminds me a lot of the coloring used in the new anime's evolution sequence, like before he puts a shell on and everything, it's just kind of glowing this gray sparkliness. It reminds me a lot of that.
I love his expression. The decision to not add pupils to him gives him a really menacing vibe, and just his stance in general, the way he's holding the shield and the sword, he looks like he's about to mess someone up. And so I really like that. Really like the menacing aura this guy gives off.
Up next, we got Samster. Samster says... Oh, wait, there we are. Okay, Samster says, well, the Digicode characters Zu and Do can be seen on his knee shields. A mysterious new symbol has appeared on his left arm guard. It is foretold that a certain tamer from the human world is destined to unlock secrets of this symbol and the full power of Zudomon X. The new mace hammer Xor unleashes a nuclear thunderstorm called Atom X Shower, which disintegrates opponents into pure electrons. So once again, we have more part stealing. You can see a little bit of Mega Seedramon X going on. Animal Carimon going on back there. And I have to say, I love the whole. I got a good laugh at the mysterious new symbol lore. I thought that was pretty funny. Obviously, I would. But this is the thing I want to say about this most of all is that I think this would fit right in a 19th century field guide drawn by someone who just encountered this beast on some expedition to the far north. So very cool.
Yes, I love the sparkles in the tail, like how he's moving, like the trail that it's leaving. I love the detail on the hammer. It's phenomenal. It looks really deadly, and yeah, he's bringing it down. Love the movement in this piece.
Most definitely. All right. Next up, we have Sepulchro, and they say that they wanted to keep with the theme of Zudomon wearing parts of its defeated foes, because that's such a cool concept. So their idea for Zudomon X is wearing parts of several other X-antibody Digimon, and they challenged us to see if we could pick them all. So I'm pretty sure that this design wins the contest for the most parts stolen, if that was what we were doing here, that's for sure. Because we can see Animalcarimon X going on in the back there. We can see Manoraemon X is on his arm, Seedramon X on the other arm, Tylomon X is affixed to the hammer there. And I know I'm missing at least one more here. But the fact that it also even seals Manoraemon X's attack as well, you can see it charging up that glowing electrical orb there, that just seals it for me. It's a really great concept of the whole stealing parts.
This is one of them that I had to keep looking at like over and over again, just because I couldn't get enough of just like absorbing all of the details. It's like a fun game trying to figure out all of the different parts that he stole. He was very busy, but yeah, no, I love how detailed it is, and I like how happy he looks at having stolen all these body parts.
Yeah, we'll have to hit up Sepulchre later and figure out what everything all was in there. All right. Up next, we have September. September says that the design of Zudomon X is based on representations of Thor, and so that's represented here, giving him various aspects so that he resembles the Nordic god. His clothes, the runes, the design of his hammer, even giving him a more upright posture for similar of that of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think this is like definitely one of the cuter versions of Zudomon we're seeing here. He's got a very nice face, and it looks a little bit less bloodthirsty. So very, very nice to see someone go that route as for a change.
I would trust this man with my life. I love his face. He looks so earnest. Look at him holding his hammer. He's so cute. That is adorable.
All right, up next we got Seth Vermin, and they tried for a lot of the X imagery, like in the hammer and the facial hair and the ears together and stuff. Gave him a mechanical arm with big claws because it added to the sharpness and angular aesthetic of a lot of X antibody Digimon. This one looks absolutely vicious, I have to say, and it's almost as if Zudomon has absorbed like wolf DNA during the evolution process. He's got a very, he's a little bit more canine. He's got a lot of really huge teeth, the claws going on. And he's just basically become a proper beast, even with those extra horns going on at the top. And I really like the way that they incorporated the ear to mustache X shape there.
Yeah, I like the claw. I like how it looks almost more menacing than the hammer. Like he prefers to use the claw, which kind of goes into what you were saying about him absorbing kind of wolf DNA.
All right, now we've got Shin. And Shin says that the X antibody infected the hammer, which spread metal around as armor. And then they said, P.S. He is the most strongest Digimon of all time and has infinite attack power and cannot die because he is my OC, Donut Steel. P.P.S. He could be Yggdrasil in a fight easy and all of the Royal Knights at once. So, certainly the strongest Zudomon we've seen at this point. And I will say the tail on this is my favorite part because of the way the line work is done here. It's got the very distinct lines for every part of it. It just, I don't know. I don't know what it is about it specifically that I like for that reason, but it just looks appealing to me. Very happy with that. And also kudos on the very unique shield design there. It's got a different shape for most of the shields that we see.
This one gives me a kind of like a classic comics vibe almost, with the way the lightning is placed and how the tail looks and is drawn. I really appreciate that. This is like a really different aesthetic than we've seen.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we got Shiver. Shiver did not leave a comment. They said no comment. Sorry, but this is like the scariest looking Zudomon. Actually, it's one of the two. You'll see the other one here in a minute. But this is easily top two for the scariest looking ones. It's got a very vicious looking face there, and I love it. It almost looks like it's got a little bit of influence from Marine Devimon there around the face. I'm not sure if that's what they're going for or not, but that's the vibe that I get. And then the hammer and the face designs are like where it just really shines. Like I love the way that the hammer is. It's a very unique style for a hammer that I haven't seen on the other designs. And again, that face, holy cow, it's terrifying. Yeah,
no, the way that they incorporated the ice shards in the weaponry and the shell is just phenomenal. I have to say I love the sprite. I think that's probably better than any sprite that I've seen Bandai do. And not any sprite, but yeah, it's really good. But I love the hammer, and I love how vicious the claws look. The nails just look like they would absolutely shred anything they come in contact with. Absolutely menacing. Super good horn too.
Okay, now we've got Smacky, and they say for their version of Zudomon X, they went for a more loosely Celtic-inspired look, and I definitely get that. There's a lot of green going on here especially, and the thing that really stuck out to me right away as well is the blue paint, which obviously gives me Braveheart vibes. That's immediately what I'm thinking of a William Wallace type character, and I'm definitely here for it. And with a lot of the designs being mostly Norse influenced, I like seeing one come from another culture as well. It's a very cool idea.
I like a lot of the tiny details with the accessories. I like the kind of like buckler shield he has. It's pretty different. I like the crest on his on the belt buckle that's keeping his toga up. It's really nice details there.
All right, here we've got Syrius, and Syrius's comment is just that they tried with a little sweat drop face. It's another boat. I love that. I never would have made that kind of connection myself to put boats on the back of Zudomon, and I love it. I love that idea. It's a great idea. In this one, we got a classic Viking ship with all the various shields going on, and then Zudomon itself is just a straight up like classic pirate with the hat and the hook hand, and it's even got his big old anchor. I like seeing this. It's as if people think of Zudomon as a big pillaging menace, which I guess it kind of is, isn't it?
That's how he's ended up in this competition, at least. Like, if he wasn't before, this competition has immortalized him as a kind of a thief, and the pirate motif definitely fits him really well. I like how he's holding the anchor. I think that's probably my favorite part.
All right, up next we have the Devil. Apparently is submitting artwork now. That's cool. And they say of this, just thanks for the challenge. And I love. There's a lot to look at here, first of all. Like, and I mean that in a really good way. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot to wrap your eyes around. And one of the things that really stuck out to me as I looked at it longer is just how long his mustache is now. And I love that. I love how it just like goes to the floor and then keeps going. The hammer design is really cool. And I like these little purple crystals that are almost like floating off of its back. Really, really cool ideas here.
The first thing I thought of when I looked at this was a Draenei from World of Warcraft. With the pink crystals kind of floating around and the kind of paladin-looking hammer. He looks more like a paladin, I think, than anything else. And I really like how different that is. I like the armor choices. I love how shiny the shell is. And yeah, just a lot of great decisions here.
All right, up next we have Tiger Dragonzord. They say that the X antibody allowed Zudomon to grow to an even bigger scale. It scours the digital seas, searching for worthy opponents, and sometimes takes on multiple Mega and Ultimate level Digimon. And so, in case you're wondering just how big this thing is, first of all, that's Eldoradimon's head on its back. And that's like one of the biggest Digimon around, for sure. That's one thing. The other thing is you can see its old shell right there on its elbow. From when it was just normal Zudomon. I love that. And I also love the whole like traditional Japanese style painting that they motif they went for with the tail. There's just there's a lot of cool ideas on this one that I really enjoy.
I like how they managed to provide a sense of scale that's like kind of just like available to be seen like right there on the guy's body. Like you can tell how big he is just by knowing how big his old shell was compared to how he is now. How big the other Digimon on his back is. Really, really cool. Also just a really great way to have him holding the hammer and give it a sense of heft. Really nice.
All right, now we've got TMGC 1234, and they say, okay, I'm gonna read this to you, and I still can't believe this, but they drew this on a Nintendo 3DS app called Colors 3D, and I cannot fathom how anyone could do such a thing. Like, the art is beautiful all on its own. Like, you draw this anything, I'm gonna tell you it's beautiful. But to have done it on a 3DS, like, that's dang impressive. So well done on that. It came out great. It's a very stylized version, like just from head to toe, and I really enjoy that. I love the take they did on this, right down to the pinky being extended while holding the hammer. Like, I love it. There's so much good about this.
I think the hammer here is probably one of in my top 3 favorite hammers that we've seen so far. I love how it's glowing. I love how the crest is kind of incorporated into how it's carved. And I just love his stance and his expression on his face. He actually reminds me of the Scotsman from Samurai Jack in a lot of ways. I really, really like how he comes off. Like, he'd be the jolly berserker type in an adventure story. Really, really nice.
All right, here we've got Tom Blazer, and Tom says that they went for a Thor kind of design. They moved Zudomon's turtle shell thing into a shield for battle, and turned his hammer into a proper Thor hammer with lightning around him to boot. And I just have to say, I love the idea of Zudomon just constantly having lightning around him, just shocking everything that comes nearby to him as he's moving around. And that horn, by the way, huge. Love it.
Yeah, I love the shape of the horn. I like how it's extending off of his head. And yeah, anytime there's the shell transitions into a shield, I love that. Really, really cool.
All right, we got another Tom. This time it's Tom M. They say the hair is still orange because I didn't want to ape Vikemon too much, and I wonder if I was too similar in the base like this. And I don't think so. I think that you went very much in your own direction with this. I think if you did base this on Vikemon, you definitely did a great job of making it your own thing. So I will say, though, this guy is freaking terrifying to look at. Like, holy cow, that face. One detail I love is that the with the terrifying face you see right there is you look above it. If you could take your eyes away from those eyes for a moment, you look above the head. There's two little gremlins coming out of the shell there. One pointing to the left, one pointing to the right, and it's similar to how a lot of other Digimon have organic missiles. I don't know for sure that those are meant to be missiles, or if they're just meant to be like just protrusions in general. But one way or the other, I love their little faces. It's such a fun little touch.
This guy is frightening. He is very powerful looking, not just because of the muscles, but because of how much armor he's carrying on him, like all at once. The claw is spectacular looking. I love how spiky it is. I really like the shoulder armor on the left side specifically. I like how the Deep Savers logo is emblazoned there, and just really powerful looking guy. This one is so good.
It is. It's really good. And every time it just, seriously, it always makes me laugh. I freaking love this thing. So this is from Virgil Schneider, as you can see there. And they say, as there have been exceptional instances where an extra Digimon is also featured in another Digimon's art, the shocked Akuamon X here is part of the art for size reference. And that's a very much a pendulum art book type thing to do. Like when the little manuals often had art like this, and especially the guides, I guess, more so than the manuals. The guides always had cute little art of Digimon interacting. So I love this, and I want a plush of this like yesterday. It's such a fun idea. I love how just completely they took the concept of Zudomon X, thought about everything that an X Digimon normally is, and said, nah, I'm gonna go this route instead and make him a huge funny looking walrus. And it's adorable, and it makes me laugh every time. I love it.
I love how cute it is, obviously. I like the hammer symbol on him, but more than that, I really like how more detail was put into the Okuamon being shocked than the Zudomon himself. I think that's a really nice, really funny touch, and I like this whole piece overall, just like taken all together. Just very cute and funny.
Absolutely, that's very good. All right, speaking of, here's Wosh. Those of you that have been around the server long enough know Wosh. You know how great he is. Wosh is he became famous in the art scene when he created his own version of Bodemon. He actually drew that on a 3DS as well. He's also quite versed in using 3DS for artwork. If you've not seen his Bodemon, ask him to see his Bodemon. It's beautiful and full of tentacles, and that's all I'm going to say about it right now. But all they said for this piece in their comment, they said, I'm sorry. And I say, do not apologize. He's doing a great job.
He's that Dark Souls wolf, except a turtle. That's it.
It's true.
I like to think he throws it he puts his whole neck into throwing the hammer, and then just like scampers off to grab it and keep throwing it.
Scampers off. That's the perfect word to describe it. Scampers off. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh yeah, I have to say about the X and the I. Before I opened this up, I thought that the X was like a I'm dead X, because I didn't see the red when it was in its thumbnail form. So at first I'm like, did he just send me a dead Zudomon? No, he just got a cool X scar going on. So good. All right, continuing this trend, we've got Jean, age 24, right here. Jean did not leave us any comments, and I will just say this is simply amazing. I love the fact that not only does it have hammer chucks, like the hammer's tied together via a chain there, but it also is holding another hammer with its tail. Yeah,
this is going to go down in history as the greatest Zudomon design, maybe probably the greatest Digimon design period, I think, in history.
Yes.
So this is yeah.
You don't often see Post-its used as a medium anymore either.
So no, not nearly enough as we should. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, this one's actually our last piece. Holy cow, we're already through all these guys. So we have here ZKTurtle, and they did not leave us a comment on this, but I have plenty of comments here. So first of all, again, part stealing. Look at all those pieces that are now part of its weapon. We've got Mega Seadramon, we've got Animalakarimon, we've got Piranamon's jaws going on down there even. It's got a lot, but that's all one thing. But then you get to Zudomon itself, and he's become straight up reptilian. And obviously, I love it. I love reptilian designs in anything, and you can even see it's got a lower carapace now. It's got the plastron from its formerly Archelamon shell, but the shell's obviously evolved a little bit too, and it's even got that big old knife. Is that Regalicusmon's knife that it's used as a horn? Did it take its own horn back It is now using it as a knife, because I'm just now seeing that. I don't know if I've got that right or not. But if I do, huge props. This is beautiful.
Yeah, like this one really does a great job at telling a story, and the imagination kind of just runs wild with this one. Like, he looks like he's mid-transformation. It does look like he went and shanked Regalicusmon to get his horn back. And then started shanking other Digimon with his own horn that another guy stole. This guy is great. I love this guy.
Absolutely. Oh man. All right, so that is all the art pieces. So let's go ahead and go back to full screen. Nope, that's not the right one. It was, but I have the intro on again. There we go. All right, so holy cow, that was a lot of really good art. A lot of really good designs, and we had just a ton of trouble actually figuring out which one needed to win. And as it turns out, we couldn't decide on just one. So we have picked a total of 3 winners. One that will win the grand prize that was promised of both versions of the Digital Monster X English. But we will also be giving out to the 2 runners-up, each one Digital Monster X as well. So I don't have those on hand, so those might take a little bit longer to get to you. But either one way or the other, you're getting them, because there's just so many good pieces. Like, even choosing 3 was insanely difficult. We spent a long time on it, going over all these and figuring it out. So we're gonna start with one of the runner-ups are in no particular order either. So I'm just gonna pull up one of them here. I gotta scroll down to find it. Where is it? There you are. Okay, let's just make sure that's the right one so I don't get anyone else's hopes up. Yep, okay, cool. So our first runner-up here is RussellOTD. Congratulations! This was very early on. It really spoke to me as we're looking through all these. I love it. It's got such a great stance to it. I love the energy coming out of every piece of it, and it just looks like this is the design that I would absolutely love to see in actual Digimon media. Like, I'd love to see this in the animation. I'd love to see this in the video game. I'd love to see this everywhere. Obviously, I'd love to see it in a virtual pet too, but I wouldn't be able to appreciate it as much on there, unfortunately. But I just love so many of the choices here. It's just such a good design. It's got so much weight behind it. Even just standing still, you can just feel a lot of emotion coming out of this Zudomon. Florp, what are your thoughts on this thing?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I love that you can basically imagine him doing his thing in any setting you want. Like I said, like if you see him in a frozen tundra guarding a fortress, maybe leading a charge of maybe Gomamon in the background, like an army. I don't know. He's got a lot going on here. I love the shield. I love the energy on every single part of him. And this was when I decided early on. This was one of the first designs that really caught my eye. And this is when I decided that if you're going to remove the shell from the back, definitely make something good to replace it. And I love the kind of fur coat looking aesthetic that it has going on. Just really, really well executed.
And I'm going to read here what our third judge, Ray, what he thought about this. He says, this Zudomon X might be my favorite of all the entries. It's a lot simpler than some of the other designs, which works really well and helps it stand out. It's awesome how easy it is to trace the logic behind each aspect of the design, and there's a definite sense of the attitude of this guy. He just feels like an actual character. So, again, really well done, Russell. This is fantastic. I will be contacting you for all the winners who are, today. I will be contacting you via email to get your information so I can send you out your prizes. So there you go. Absolutely fantastic. So let's move on to our other runner-up here. Right here. Next runner-up is Joe. So seriously, this is just, I love so much about this. I love that the boat is just constantly breaking into the iceberg on its back. It's such a cool idea. I love that he's got like tentacles for hair going on in the back there with like little shards of ice in them. I love the pose. Like, just how much, again, there's a lot of energy in this. There's a lot of him just like being really determined to shoot something. Like, if you are the one he is looking at, I'm sorry. And I love that little fish just being like, oh boy, look where I'm going. I love, there's just so much. And obviously they put a lot of effort into this. They put a lot of detail into it. Just like, look at that freaking crane on top of the boat. You didn't have to make a crane on top of the boat, but you made a crane on top of the boat. Such a good little detail. I absolutely love this thing. It is, it's a blast to look at. You see something new every time, and just, yeah, a really good design.
This is another one I had to keep coming back to just to look at how many details were stuffed into this guy, and it's just enough details so that it's not too overbearing, it's enough so that you go, okay, this makes sense for an X design. They usually tend to be pretty complicated. They usually have a decent amount of details, and this guy absolutely has pretty much everything that you could possibly want in one of those complicated X designs. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, and for Ray's comments, Ray said, this is a beautifully drawn design with a lot of original ideas combined into one. It's very busy and there's a lot going on, but I think that works in its favor. It's extremely over the top like most X antibody Digimon and has a unique theme. The shell being replaced by an icebreaker ship crashing into his iceberg is on its back is a nice touch. So, again, congratulations, Joe. I'll be reaching out to you here soon. So, yeah, absolutely beautiful. Very good work there. And that leads us to... Well, before we get to the winner of the actual overall art contest, the grand prize winner, we're going to take a break from that for a moment. We're going to go to the commenter winner first. So let's go ahead and hop over to that just to keep everyone in suspense. Is that evil of me to do?
Yes.
Good. So let's bring that up. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why my face was over there for a second, but whatever. All right, so I have here the random YouTube comment picker. A random website that I found that could do exactly what we're looking to do. So again, we're filtering out duplicate users. If you entered multiple comments, it won't matter because we're only picking one. We're excluding replies, and there you go. You can see all the settings here to know that it is fair. And so we're gonna go ahead and gather how many YouTube comments did we get from our previous video announcing this contest. 254 comments. That's not bad odds.
That is awesome.
Not bad odds, but that is a lot of people. That is a lot of people, but it could be you. It could be you. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and hit this start the raffle button. And let's just see where it goes. Here we go. And it's cycling, and it stops on Yon Blue. Oh, that's a big comment too. Their comment is, in a set of super spiky or super cartoony redesigns, for some reason, Leomon X's bizarre realistic cat face on a super detailed body always surprises me when I see him. And for that, I gotta go with him. He loses something in the evolution to Panjamon X, so maybe it's the armor in that evolution that doesn't appeal to me as much to me. I have to agree. Leomon X is a great design. I like the sword. I like everything about him. He's really cool. So, congratulations, Yon Blue. I will be reaching out to you as well to send you your prize of a Digital Monster X White. So, congratulations to that. Thank you, everyone who was entering that contest, by the way, leaving comments on there. Sorry it couldn't have been you. Maybe on the next contest, whenever that will be. So now, that leaves us to the grand prize winner of winning both versions of the Digital Monster X. Again, we got the white, we've got the black. You get them both. Who's it going to be? So let's go ahead and bring that up. And the winner is CWDW with this absolutely beastly design. I cannot state enough how much I just love everything about this. What I want to tell everyone is that a lot of people had a lot of really great ideas for Zudomon, changing a lot of things, and I think a lot of those changes worked really well in their favor, and all made them super unique. And what I loved about CWDW is that all those changes, no matter what they were, still really addressed the core of what made Zudomon X what it is. It's still got that freaking awesome hammer, but now it's got ice on it with an axe head. It's got the anchor. It's got the shell, but it's covered in these blue spikes and just blue energy canisters. It's got the beautiful, beautiful tail, and just honestly, the technique here is just phenomenal. Like, holy cow, I was blown away when I saw this. I didn't realize people could make art like this. So it is just absolutely fantastic design. Really well done, well-deserved win on this.
This one, I had a lot of kind of criteria when looking at all of the art and trying to decide what constituted one that, like, obviously stuck out to me as a winner, and this one checked pretty much every single box. The shell is phenomenally designed. I love the metal jutting out of it. The hammer is deadly looking and incorporates a lot of different attributes, like the electricity, the runes on the front, the ice. The lighting is spectacularly executed. The colors are amazing. I love the flecks of snow on his fur. It just gets better and better the more you look at it. And it doesn't look like it's an evolution of Zudomon. It doesn't look like it's too simple. It looks like an X version of Zudomon. So 100% also my pick for the best one here.
And from Ray, he says, there is a lot to love about the Zudomon X, from the gorgeous art style, the amazing use of color and texture to bring it to life. It's definitely a winner. I could definitely see this being close to an official Bandai design for Zudomon X. The enhancements to the hammer and the metal augmentations give it strong X-Antibody Digimon vibes, and it absolutely does feel like a natural progression for Zudomon. So there you have it, folks. That is your winner, CWDW. Again, great job, and just seriously, great job to every artist. I will be posting these artworks as a separate gallery from this video, so you don't have to just watch the whole thing to see them. So in the next few days, look out for that. And yeah, seriously, great work to everybody. Like, it was not easy picking a winner. It was, even picking 3 winners was not easy, because you guys, we got some talented artists out here, and you know what, we're going to try to do one of these again in the future. I can't promise when or what it will be or that, but I would love to showcase more of the artwork that this community has such a great talent for. So, Flirp, what are your final thoughts on all this?
This was a blast to do. I loved looking at everyone's different takes, and it's phenomenal how many different designs showed up that I wouldn't have even thought of in a million years. Like the piston hammer was one that was just incredible. Basically every single spin on the hammer just blew me away with how unique and interesting they were. So fantastic job, everyone. Definitely a hard contest to judge just because of how many amazing entries there were.
Absolutely. So for those of you that have watched this, please go check out these artists and their pages. I will be putting the links to their pages in the description of this video right after we get off of it, right after it's done airing. And yeah, check them out. If you liked any of these, just imagine what else these people do when they're not restricted to just 2 weeks of time to make their pieces. Like, there's a lot of good stuff out there. I'm already following a few of them, that's for sure. If I haven't followed you yet, I'm getting there. I've got to look through all these, and I've got a lot of new stuff to look at, so definitely support these guys. I don't know whether or not they do commissions. I know someone in the comments asked that, but if you are taking commissions, then look out for a little bit of influx with that, I hope. Hopefully, if you guys like this art, show support to your artist, have them do cool commissions for you. Maybe you can get an X-Antibody of a design that you don't have yet yourself. Maybe you need a Patamon X or an friggin', I don't know, what else? Who else doesn't have an X-Antibody? Oh, I know. We need a Pagumon X.
Yes, we do.
So, yes, definitely reach out to these guys, support them. Always happy to show off work like this for talented individuals. So, that is it for tonight. Everyone, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for supporting this. And yeah, we'll see about doing another one of these in the future. We'll figure out something else and hopefully get some more artists featured. And again, thank you very much to those artists who participated. All your work was fantastic, and big congratulations to those winners. All of you have a wonderful evening, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.